So I finally completed Update 3 of Sonic Frontiers, and as a whole, I enjoyed it, but it suffers from a few fundamental issues. So I'm going to start off by getting into the story stuff. I'm not going to be spoiling anything, so don't worry. So what you need to know is that basically they rearranged the final island of the game and changed up the game's ending. And all the characters actually have a role to play. Sonic's friends actually get to do something in the end and you get to play as them. There's some nice moments of dialogue between the characters, and I feel like they did a good enough job fixing up the end part of the game. So let's now get into the playable characters. Man, can I say they all play pretty solidly. We'll start off with Amy because she's the first character you play as. Amy, she plays pretty well. She has these tarot cards you can fly around with. She has a roll, a dodge, and yeah, but she plays pretty well. Next we have Tails, who is probably my favorite character to play as. He can dodge, he has this ability where he can throw wrenches. If you hold down the boost button, Tails will slap out an entire tornado, which is a callback to his mech walker from Adventure 2, which is pretty nice. He plays pretty well, though I should probably mention that he does not have a homing attack like the other characters, which kinda sucks. Finally, we have Knuckles. He can glide, he has his own boost, though there is one issue I do have with him. I don't like how his glide has this delay where it's when you're trying to glide, there's Knuckles has this weird delay when you're trying to glide, which not a big fan of that, to be honest. But all around, like the other characters, he plays pretty well. Honestly, it was a joy playing as all of them. I loved abusing their flying abilities so I can get to the Cocos so they can give me experience points. Speaking of that, there's oriented platforming challenges for the characters. And when you get up to these platforms, you run into these Coco that give you something. Points or whatever. I kind of skipped all of these because you can go up to the final tower and then just fly off of it with one of the characters to reach one of these guys. Now I want to bring up that I never really engaged with the overworld bosses in cyberspace. I decided to fight around 2 bosses in the overworld, the spider and the ninja. They're a bit more challenging now and have been nerfed up, but I just never really engaged with them. I played around in all the new cyberspace levels, but I just never completed all of them, except for around 2 of them. I'll give this to the new cyberspace levels. They have some pretty interesting ideas behind them, there's one level where you have to run away from a bomb. There's one where you have to collect animals. All around, they're interesting ideas. Now I'm going to talk about the towers. I'll admit I had a bit of fun climbing up the towers, but I did struggle a bit with the first one because I had it on normal mode. Then when I switched it to easy, it became pretty simple to get up the tower. Did fall down them a little bit sometimes, but I had a bit of fun going up the towers. Once you climb up all the towers, there's these new challenges for you to complete, where basically you're in an arena fighting some enemies. You have a timer and you have to, beat your time. Like with climbing up the towers, I think it's fun, but they suffer from a fundamental issue I like to call difficulty spike. So I made it around to the 4th one, and I was required to fight all the bosses again, but guess what? If you run out of rings, have fun refighting the bosses again. Luckily, I got through the bosses and it felt pretty rewarding in the end. I want to talk about the final boss a little bit because there's something a bit stupid to them, so there's something you have to lock onto, but I always struggled trying to lock onto this certain thing on the final boss. But luckily I did and I defeated it. And the final boss actually felt like a final boss. But as a whole, that's basically everything I had to say about Sonic Frontiers 3rd update. I had a good time, but it suffers from a few fundamental issues. I forgot to bring up the music, but it's good. It's pretty good. And when I was in cutscenes talking with characters, dialogue would just cut out. The audio would just not be there. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but yeah, that's everything I have to say about this update. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So as a whole, that is basically it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.